Hi, my name is Sadie Arsenault. I am a licensed agent in the state of Virginia. I live and practice real estate law in Hampton Roads 757, and I am making this video today to talk about the NAR class action lawsuit because it actually blew my mind on the whole case itself, and I'm going to be going over the facts and obviously my opinion on it. I have been licensed for almost 5 years now, so there are other agents that have made videos on this that have been in the industry for 15 plus years and have seen it all. But I do want to give my perspective on it because my first 5 years, continually, I mainly do work with buyers, and I shocked that the verdict did come to damages owed a total of $1.8 billion. So yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing I do want to just say is there are very unethical agents out there. No matter what, you should always do your research and due diligence and look into the agent that you are hiring, and really be careful on what they disclose to you and if you want to work with that person. Now, it's kind of hard if this is your first time selling a home, buying a home. Recommendations are huge, reviews are huge, so just keep that in mind that not all of us are terrible. I read the comments and everyone's saying that this is going to be a wake-up call because most agents, we get overpaid, which I disagree. We earn our commissions, and honestly, the breakdown that you see on the HUD statement after a closing is not what we get. But again, I'll get into that later on the video. So if you are thinking about buying and selling, please make the right choice because it does leave a huge reputation for careers that we are very passionate about and we devote to. I joined in 2019. It was a very easy market. Houses sat on the market for a couple of months, and I closed 20 houses my first year, and none of them were listings. They were all buyers. I was very fortunate and grateful, but one thing about real estate is what you put in is what you get out, and I worked very, very hard. And if I was more experienced and know what I knew now that year, I could have closed more. And I'm saying that because the amount of time and effort and gas and money I spent and still spend till this day is nowhere compared to what I could have closed, because nothing is ever guaranteed in this industry. So let's just go over the case itself. So this is sellers suing NAR, saying that agents had conspired to inflate the commissions paid to real estate agents that could alter the home buying process in the United States. So that we are conspiring on forcing them to pay commission fees. So I found that really, really interesting because I know, at least for me, I go through all the fees with my sellers and my buyers. And, after all these years, I have now gotten listings and buyers. I'm still very buyer heavy. I now work with investors too, which helps. But the whole conspiracy theory that, we are forcing these sellers to pay these commissions is actually just hard for me to wrap my brain around, because at the end of the day, you are signing a legal contract and document when we list your home, and there is different listing agreements and agencies that you have on the relationship with your agent. There's the main one, and the only one I use is the exclusive right to sell agency, which means I represent you in listing your home. And when I go to my listing appointments or before I list a home, I go over the entire contract. I give them an estimated net proceeds, and I highlight everything on what to expect that will be paid out of closing. And now we're coming to a point where sellers do not want to pay the buyer brokerage fee, that the buyer should be responsible for that. And I don't like, and I will agree that the whole, a lot of people have been telling buyers, oh, well, I'm free to you, the seller already pays that. It's not true. Honestly, when you're acquiring an asset, especially one of the biggest assets in your life, nothing is ever free. Nothing ever is free in life, not even lessons. So this lawsuit's pretty much saying that the houses that are sold is an anti-competitive because sellers are required to list their properties on an MLS and agree ahead of time to provide commissions at a predetermined rate, which is typically 6% of the sale price, to be split among buyer and seller agents with few realistic options to avoid or significantly reduce the amount of those fees. Again, there's a lot of agents that, there's a lot of agents that have reduced their commission significantly. I mean, to the point where they're charging 1% just to list the property. The firm that I work with and the firm I worked with before, I had to get permission through my broker in order to reduce any kind of commission. And if I did reduce the commission, I would actually reduce mine and still give the buyer's agent the full 3%. Now, if there wasn't wiggle room where I wasn't being fully compensated, then maybe I would do 2.5 and give the buyer's agent 2.5, which is common, especially in living in a military town where they had only a 3-year order, and there wasn't much equity in the home. And if I got approval, then that's something that I would do, because at the end of the day, first and foremost, my clients come first, and if there is a way where I can cut my commission, I will, even and still perform at a full service to them. I will never not fully perform for a client based on the check I'm receiving. If I'm only getting paid 2% on a $100,000 house versus the full 3% on a $800,000 house, I'm not going to change one bit. I'm going to be exactly the same and consistent. And it is unfortunate that there are a lot of agents out there that do perform based on how much they're getting paid. And the one pro, if this does happen, is it will eliminate the agents that operate that way, but it will be a huge disadvantage to buyers. For example, I've had 3 buyers this past couple months I tried buying, and right now we're in a market where buyers are waiving repairs, overbidding. They have to pay their own closing costs, which is your lender and title fees, your down payment if you're not military. They can't even, we have to wait next year for them to save. I can't even imagine asking them to tack on another 3% or whatever the case may be in order to become a homeowner. And I think that this lawsuit is going to really teach and show sellers and buyers how much we actually are worth during this transaction and how much is put into it. Marketing, legally protecting you, and making sure that you are, receiving the best possible transaction outcome and experience of either buying or selling a home. So hopefully when you are signing these paperwork, so you are working with someone that goes over everything with you. Now, I've had clients that are like, Sadie, like, we trust you, just send it to me, I'm gonna sign it. I still go over it with them. I want to ensure we are all on the same page. And on the bottom, where you are signing your full name, it says brokerage fee, and seller shall pay total brokerage fee of blank %. And next to it, it says seller acknowledges that a portion of the brokerage fee, blank % of this final sales price, will be paid to the selling firm that brought you the buyer. And I think that is only fair, because buyers agents drive around all over town we're not getting paid. I'm telling you right now, we are not getting paid until that closing. And after everything's said and done, between splits, reimbursement of gas, just our time, paying ourselves on our time, closing gifts, whatever the case may be, it's, now listen, there's deals where you're like, whoa, that was amazing. That was, that was great. But I feel like on average, it's not as whoa as what people assume it is. So this is an industry where I'm not getting salary or hourly. And honestly, if that was the case, then it would be a lot way worse agents out in this industry. So you'll know a good one. And if you do get a bad one and you do a deal with them, two things will happen. One, you're going to never want to do it again. Or two, you're going to know how to find the right one after it. And you know what I find really interesting? Interesting on this lawsuit is the attorneys that are representing the sellers on this. They're actually kind of going out. They are actually going against the antitrust law. Because they are actually receiving a commission and not a flat fee on how much money that they can get out of this lawsuit with reimbursement of fees. And it's kind of the same thing that we're doing. And obviously, you know how commission works. The more you jack that price up, the more you're getting. So kind of found that hypocritical, but that's just me. Also, I think sellers need to realize that it makes their lives a lot easier when a good buyer's agent is on the deal, and it makes it easier for the person representing you, which is the listing agent, to make sure that your house is getting to closing and there's no issues legally, and just making it a great experience. I don't think sellers realize how important a buyer's agent is, and I'm curious on if this is a lawsuit just to get money and everyone jumped on the bandwagon, because I feel like if you were to sell your home and then buy another one, you wouldn't want to pay your buyer's agent. You would be like, oh, okay, now I'm getting a break and the seller's going to pay it. So, that's just a question of either way. I mean, maybe if you're downsizing, yeah, you're saving a little bit of money, but I mean, either way, if one agent that you really want to use is like, I'm not negotiating my fee at 3%, are you really saving money? So it's, stick to the industry standard. And then when you hopefully repurchase, because you're smart enough to know that being a homeowner is the way to go over renting, in most cases, then why would you want to change how it's, been? But that's just me. And I thought this was also an interesting fact. So everyone, talking about, oh, well, we were forced to pay these commissions and we, don't think that that's a fair percentage, and what do you even do? It's I'm sorry if you have said that statement and you have not worked with a good agent, but I thought this was an interesting fact. So the founder and former CEO of ForSaleByOwner.com, which created a website to help people sell their properties for sale by owner, which is fine. You have every right to, which is crazy that this lawsuit even happened, because no one forced you to use an agent and have them listed on the MLS, and forced you to work with an agent that was very stern, because went alone saying that, you could have called up a different agent that would have listed it way less and advertised way less to the buyer's agent. You probably wouldn't have gotten the same outcome that you did with the 6%, but it would have gotten sold. Which, if at the end of the day, if you are more heavy on your net proceeds versus an ethical, smooth, clean transaction, hey, that's on you. If you care about the money more than selling one of your biggest assets, then you're gonna get what you pay for. But yeah, the founder and former CEO of ForSaleByOwner.com tried selling his 2,000 square foot New York condo in New York City, which I have heard that has always been a seller's market. It sat on the market for 6 months. What did he decide to do? He decided to hire a real estate agent and he paid the 6%. Guess what? He netted $30,000 way more than he was trying to when he sold it by himself. He got $150,000 over asking price, and she sold it instantly. I thought that was an interesting fact, that the man that advertised to do it yourself didn't even do it himself, and he gave it the route that has worked for years, and he benefited out of it. So I think at the end of the day, this is all very money driven, which is very unfortunate because there's so many emotions involved and there's so many legal things involved. And this is really going to limit people's advantage on being a homeowner and earning equity. And now we're going to have to start paying investors and corporations that have all these rentals and lease buildings because we are trying to change the rules because sellers are claiming that agents forced them to signing a contract that probably wasn't either fully disclosed to them on what they were paying, B, changed their mind on their opinion on who deserves what, which opinion is a feeling, not a fact. The fact states that you signed the contract. And unless someone put a gun to your head or drugged you or forged your signature, that's why I can't believe this lawsuit came to that verdict. I tried Googling to see who was on the jury. I couldn't, but I would like to see if that decision was biased. And yeah, but I'm still, looking into it and reading and kind of observing my opinion, but that's just my thoughts on it, and be more than happy to go over some other things, but I just wanted to make a quick video on it. And if there is any other updates, which there probably won't, this is going to be a thing that's going to be going on for a very long time. There's going to be appeals. I think that this will definitely open up more honest conversations on fees and commissions, which I hope so. I think that's the only right thing to do. I don't know why, as agents, if, a lot of people are stern on, they know that their services are worth a percentage, and that's fine, but just, don't sell them one thing and then do another. So, yeah. Y'all have a good one and stay safe out there on buying and selling.